Hello class, I'm Zach Peterson. I'm an instructor here for CTC, and today what I'm going to teach you is CPR. More importantly, I'm going to teach you to teach people how to do CPR, because what this is a life-saving technique, and if we can teach people how to do CPR, then we can help save lives. According to the Mayo Clinic, there are 70% of the population that don't know what to do if there was a life-saving emergency. And so we as paramedics and paramedic students should really try to educate the community. And so I'm going to teach you today simple hands-on CPR. A lot of people in the community get really scared about having to put their mouth on a patient. And so we are going to teach them simple hands-on CPR. I'm going to teach you using American Heart Association's plan, who is the biggest influence on CPR. The American Heart Association does all research for CPR. They make the guidelines every 5 years for CPR. And hands-on CPR, as opposed to normal CPR, is just that. It's hands-on. And so we're going to teach people CAB. We used to teach ABC, in which you would go airway, breathing, circulation. You would check to see, is their airway patent? We would look inside their mouth. We would readjust their head and their neck to make sure that they weren't breathing. And then from there, we would find that they aren't breathing. And then we would actually give them a breath. We'd give them 2 breaths. And then we would finally check to see if there was even a pulse. The problem with that is that takes 20-30 seconds before we ever found out that your person was actually dead. And so the American Heart Association has changed to CAB. Let's first check a pulse. We're going to check a pulse right here at the carotid pulse. If there is no pulse, that's when we're going to start CPR. CPR is a 30-second cycle, then a 2-breath cycle, typically for us as paramedics. For the community, we just want to teach them to do chest compressions only. They're going to do 2 minutes of chest compressions, still the 5 cycles, and then they will recheck to see if there's a pulse. So, chest compressions. How do we do chest compressions? You will put your person down on a flat surface. We will put one hand over the other, right in the center of the chest, in between the nipple line, and we will press hard and fast. We want to do it 100 times a minute, and we want to do it no more than 2 inches deep into their chest. Very similar to this, and we will count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Typically after this 30th compression, this is when we as paramedics will do 2 breaths. We're not going to teach that. We're going to just continue to teach them to run through the compressions, and every 2 minutes or every 5 cycles of 30 compressions is when we would want them to then just simply check for a pulse. When we do CPR, we kind of get winded. So if you have the opportunity to have a partner switch with you, that is the best way we can keep from getting exhausted and then starting to do poor CPR. And so I have 2 students here who are also going to help demonstrate how to do this. We're going to do simple hands-on CPR. I'm showing up. Hey, are you okay? No response. The first thing I want to do is check for a pulse. My patient's without a pulse. We're going to start CPR. Mr. DiGiacomo, if you'll start for me. This one is fine. So checking for a pulse first.
Do that.
Hey, are you okay? No pulse. There's no pulse. Right to start in CPR. In the past, the person who was doing CPR, you can go ahead, sir. The person who was doing CPR would mess with the airway, mess with the breathing, and it took 20-30 seconds before they ever started compressions. That 30 seconds that was wasted is now 5 to 10% likelihood that this person would live. Thank you, sir. I noticed, however, that your compressions seemed a little fast. And so, what we can do in our head is teach our students to do it to the tune of Staying Alive. Ha, 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 staying alive, ha, 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 staying alive, Very good. Thank you, sir. I certainly appreciate it. And so, the goal here today was not to teach you CPR because I know all of you know CPR, but the importance, however, to teach the community how easy it is that they could simply save a life by doing hands-on CPR. They no longer have to worry about putting their mouths on someone that they didn't want to put their mouth on. It was just a simple fact of doing CPR. Let's find out that this person is indeed deceased. Have someone call 911, start CPR. It is a very simple thing that we can accomplish, and we can save a lot of lives by teaching people how to save lives. Thank you all very much. Does anyone have any questions for me? Yes, sir.
How many times was I supposed to do it again?
You're supposed to do this basically 100 times a minute. That's what we really want to teach our students is 100 times a minute for 2 minutes. And so, or until they get tired. If they get tired, they might have someone else switch out for them. Trying to do it 100 times a minute, and again, that singing the song is an easy way to do it. Does anyone else have any questions? All right, thank y'all so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.